Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, joining me today is my co-host, Angela Andrieux. Hello, Angela.
Hey Vanelli, hello everyone. Happy Friday.
Yes, it's been a very long week, hasn't it?
It has. We've been pretty busy, and I'm looking forward to a nice relaxing weekend.
Good. Now, for those that haven't caught it yet, we did do a 14-hour, yes, that's 14 hours of a live stream marathon doing in-depth on Luminar AI Update 2. We had Rich Harrington, special guest Mike DeMacy, Scott Kelby, your actually Kat Evans was on. Who else do we
Yep.
have?
We had Elia Licardi. We had um, who else was there? We
Darla,
had I think
Darlene,
Darlene
Darlene.
and Hazel Meredith
Yep.
and
Rick
even Scott
Freeman.
Kelby.
Yep. And so there was an entire amazing. And Harrington really knocked it out of the ballpark with a lot of his in-depth presentation. And parametric software is the key word now when describing the stuff that we do with Luminar. And it was so incredible, just him giving an in-depth on all of it. All right. So, Angela, what do you have for us today?
So today is our weekly wrap up where we go over the different topics we discussed earlier in the week. Since this week, as far as coffee break goes, was a little bit shorter, we only did episodes Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday was that all day marathon. We've got three different things to talk about with you today. The first one is how to add a digital border frame to your image. We also talked about building and capturing your sky library and how to make a dramatic monochrome image. So we'll go ahead and jump in with adding a border or a digital frame to your image. Vanilla, if you want to go ahead and share my screen, excellent. All right, so this is a beautiful photo captured in Amsterdam. And here's the original. There we go, there's the before. And there's the after. Now this is a very quick edit. What all I did was, let me right click on this, do edit adjustments and revert to original. All right, so I went to templates and under, let's see, under for this photo, I believe I went to scenery, which has one of my favorite templates, and that's Fast Fix. I like it so much that I even marked the little heart here as a favorite, so I can easily find it later here under the favorites category. There it is, Fast Fix. And it just adds a really nice pop of contrast and detail to this image. Very, very simple edit before and after. Now, what I wanted to do with this photo was make it look like we're peering through a frosted window pane. So I added a white border. I'm going to go over to Edit, over into our local masking tools, Add, and Texture. And I'm going to pull up under Load Texture one of our paper textures that I gave away free yesterday. So if you're looking for this download pack, go over to yesterday's episode and it's in the description of the video. There's a link to go ahead and download those paper textures that I mentioned. It's this paper texture kit right here. And for this episode, we're going to go into paper PNGs, and I'm going to choose this white edge border. Click open, give that a moment to load, and then it'll pop up right there on the image. Once it comes in, you'll notice that it's at 50% opacity. I'm going to go ahead and move that all the way up to 100. And because this is a PNG with transparency, we can still see our image here. Now we do need to adjust the placement of this a little bit. You can see it's cut off at the top. So I'll click on Place Texture. And then once that's loaded, there we go. Go up to the zoom to 25%. And now I can adjust this placement so the top of the frame shows on that image. I'll go ahead and click Place Texture to commit that. Resume our zoom here and go back to fit to screen. And now we have our white torn edge border, which kind of gives us the impression of looking through a frosted window pane. To give it a little bit more of that look, I'll pull the opacity back just a little because through a window, you're going to be able to see a little bit of that detail, but not a lot. And I think that just looks so cool. There's so many great things you can do with these texture overlays. So I encourage you to go back, watch yesterday's full episode. We talked about a lot of different things, including the difference between PNGs and JPEGs, how they affect your image, how you can use both types of files. So I hope you'll go back and grab that free download. Check out the episode. Awesome. Again, here's the before and the after. All right. So what was next, Vanelli?
Hey, that's awesome. All right, so I'm going to dive in and show the difference between a monochrome and black and white. Okay, so here we
Okay.
are. I have your screen. Let me put mine up. There we go. All right, so here we are. I love this image that Ev captured. Now, if we just switch it to black and white, I'll just convert here. It's a black and white image. Yes, and black and white is a form of monochrome because you're dealing with all grays to make up this image to look like this. Well, what we want to do is we want to create a monochrome look. So I'm going to start with black and white, but then we're going to introduce a color to it, and then that's going to make sure that it gives it that different, unique look, a monochrome look. All right. So I'm going to start over here with my templates, and it's going to suggest, sure enough, monochrome vision. And I went through and I started looking through some of these to see which one looked its best. And let me just bomb through. Look at that. I love this one. Black and white, high contrast too. And then we went through. Once you start to do this, you come down, and once you pick one that you absolutely love, don't forget to hit that heart icon, because instead of going through all of this, you can just click on the favorites, on your favorites, and on your favorites, you can just jump right to that immediately. All right? So here's one that I absolutely love. We're going to fix the distortion after we apply a color to it. So here, what I really liked about it was I could go through the color scheme here, or I'm going to come down here for a moment. Under mood, watch this. We could change the tonal range of this just by adapting a LUTs to this. A LUTs, the lookup table. So just by changing one of these here, look at this. I can add a LUTs to it. And in doing that, look how it changed the overall tone, the tonal range of the image by introducing color to the scene. So this is still considered a monotone because I'm adding one color to this, or through this LUTs, and it's applying it to both the highlights and the shadows. So that was one way that I did it. I'm going to reset it. Another way was coming down to toning. Pop of the saturation. Ooh, look at this. I really like that right there. So now I can be done. So right here, I'm finished. I added to the shadows 71 for my saturation, and then for the U in the shadows, 214. Well, I could do the same thing over here to highlights. What was it, 71? And then 214. So I added one color to both highlights and to the shadows, and that just gives us this beautiful monochrome look. How's that, Angela?
That's great. You know, one thing I like to do is take that a step further and make a duotone. So with the toning tool, instead of using the same color in both the shadows and the highlights area, you can take one of those areas, whether it's your shadows or your highlights, and pick an area opposite on the color wheel and make that the opposite for your shadows or your highlights. And there you get a duotone, and you get an even more complex feel. A lot of fun.
Beautiful. Look at that right there. Great job. And somebody was asking, I'm going to reset that. What about sepia? Well, if you looked inside, where was it? Was it here it is. Boom. Inside the mood tool, you have sepia, but change it to 100%, and there you have it.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. Now, cool. We both kind of double teamed on this next one. I was filling in for you.
Yep.
Organizing your Sky library.
Well, not so much organizing, but how to capture your own skies and build your own Sky library. So for those of you who are part of photo clubs or enter competitions, One of the requirements in a lot of these competitions is that you use elements that you captured yourself, meaning if you're going to do a sky replacement, it has to be a sky that you also captured. You can't use somebody else's sky. So in order to do that and really make use of the sky replacement in Luminar AI, you need to build your own sky library. And the way to do that is when you're out and about and you see a beautiful sky, take a picture. Ideally, you'll have your highest resolution professional camera with you, but if you don't, you can still do it with your cell phone. Up on the screen right now, if you want to go ahead and switch my screen, there we go. I've got an image that I captured with my iPhone. I was out on a walk one evening. The sky was beautiful. So I grabbed my phone and I took a picture. Now, when you do one with your iPhone, let me go ahead and take the adjustments here, revert this to the original. There you can see that I did capture the foreground as well. I wasn't necessarily going for the sky specifically, but you can go ahead and use this image for a sky replacement. All we need to do is crop out that area at the bottom and deal with a couple of issues. So let's go ahead, back to that. There we go. And Vanelli, your audio is bleeding through.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I'm going to go into edit and into my tools here. The first thing I want to do is crop out this foreground. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can go about doing this. So in Composition AI, I'm going to switch this to free and I'm going to grab the bottom. Now I would probably pull it to right about there, maybe right about there, and then clean up with either the clone and stamp or the erase tool some of these details. And the reason for doing that is I like this little band of pink down here at the bottom and I don't want to lose that. However, if you're in a hurry and you just want to get this ready fast, you can bring this crop up a little bit higher and eliminate the need to do any cloning or erasing. So from there, I'll hit the return key on my keyboard to commit that crop. And now I have the sky to work with. But because this was captured with my iPhone, which is a very, comparatively low resolution camera, it's got a decent sensor. It's an iPhone 11 Pro, but it's not great. So if we zoom in, we go ahead and take this up to 200%, you can see that we have some grain here. So as we edit this image, if we do anything to bring out the colors, bring out those textures, we're going to intensify this grain. So let me go ahead and zoom back out. Let's make it look a little bit prettier here with our Enhance AI. You'll see that's making the colors pop a little bit. The textures are better. Maybe even a touch of sky enhancer. And perhaps even a tiny bit of structure. You don't want to go too far because that's going to start bringing out some of those artifacts. Now, if we zoom in back to 200%, you can see that that grain has become really pronounced. To fix that, I'm going to go down to denoise and pull up that luminosity denoise until that goes away and it gets smoothed out. Now, this isn't perfect. Again, we're using a smaller sensor iPhone to take this picture, but we can make this work. So now we've got an image that is workable to use for a sky replacement. I'm going to right click on this and then go to export. Let that load up. And then I have over on my external hard drive, I have a folder here for skies, textures, and LUTs. I can go to my sky folder here in my skies, and I can save this image into that sky folder. And then I can pull that up either as a single image use in Luminar AI's sky replacement, or I can do the show custom sky folder, which let me show you that really quick over here in our Sky AI. You can go to sky selection. And if you go to this plus button, this lets you load up one single sky at a time. So you can locate any sky that you've already saved and prepared on your hard drive. Or if you go up here to this drop-down menu and you choose Show Custom Skies, you can actually bring in extra skies that you've loaded and load them into this folder, and they will then automatically appear in your sky selection list. Either way you want to do it is totally fine. But that's one way to use skies and build up your own sky library. So I want to encourage you to make sure you capture photos of the sky when you're out and about. There's so many days we're out there. The sky is beautiful. Make sure you have at least your phone with you, if not your big camera, and start building up your sky library.
Awesome.
What do you think, Vanelli?
I loved it. Here's Angela's sky. We're going to put this California sky into a New York scene. Look at that. And this is a very intricate, I mean, if you had to do this by hand, oh my God, that's outrageous. But there's your California sky, Angela, in a New York skyscraper. Not skyscraper, bridge. So there we have it. Awesome. All right, Angela, thank you so much.
If you guys have any questions, make sure you put them into the chat or into the comments below. We keep an eye on those always. And if you have ideas for future topics that you'd like to see us cover, let us know. Anything else? Any other announcements, Vanelli?
Nope, that's it. And Angela, we were talking about Luminar 3 update. So that's coming down. Well, thank God, it's giving us time to recuperate and to rest. And when it does, we'll let you guys know way ahead of time. And we're going to do another marathon to get you guys up to speed on what we're doing with that. So look for that soon. But thank you, Angela, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Great, everyone. And I will see the rest of you on the next coffee break. Thanks for joining us.